So in this video, we'll be talking about all the tips and tricks which are needed to crack the IIT's technical interview for their masters as well as for their PhD programs. So in this video, I have segmented the video into three parts. One, I'll be talking about the pre-interview process, that is how to prepare for the interview and how to go about it, and what are the do's and don'ts which you have to follow during the interview process, and what are all the do's and don'ts which you have to follow after the interview process. So before we go into the video, I just want to give a brief about myself. So I am Rajaram, doing my final year of my MS program in Information and Systems. So I have qualified GATE and I have got more than 90 percentile, and I have cracked all these interviews and then fetched a seat here. So before we dive into the video, please do subscribe to my channel, and if you haven't pressed the bell icon, please do hit the bell icon so that all my videos would be coming to you. So let's dive into the video. So guys, before we proceed further, I would actually like to say that whatever is your GATE score, just blindly apply to whichever department you're interested in. Just blindly apply. Don't care about your GATE score, because I had faced almost a similar kind of issue, that I was just going on asking and pinging my seniors, Anna, will I be shortlisted for the interview? Will I be shortlisted for the interview? Because I didn't have that much confidence on my GATE score. So I was just going about by asking so many people whether I'll be shortlisted in here, there, or not. But trust me, guys, you have no clue of what could happen. You might be shortlisted even with a very low GATE score. You might not be shortlisted even with a very high GATE score. So what I suggest is just blindly don't listen to anyone. Just blindly apply for the process. So here, if I were to tell my story, I got a call from IIT Hyderabad, I got a call from IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Madras, and I got rejected in almost all the IITs. I mean, rejected in IIT Hyderabad, IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur, and I got a seat in IIT Madras. So everything is based on pure luck, just pure luck. And if you badly want something, people will say the universe will listen. So I also believe in some kind of that sort of superstitious beliefs. So I feel that if you believe that you will get, ho jayega. So just trust in your process and then apply irrespective of what the GATE score is. So even if you don't get selected in this particular summer intake, you can always appear on the winter intakes. So there, the competition is very drastically less. So even if you cannot make it through the masters or for the PhD programs in summer, you can still try for the winter intake and all these few IITs which are offering winter admission intakes. So what I actually suggest is just blindly apply, and just you can test your luck. Always luck favors the best, so you can just try it out. I just wanted to tell a very short story about myself. I wrote GATE in the year 2021 in electrical engineering, and in 2021 I didn't get a seat in any of the IITs. I wanted to do MTech in VLSI, very large scale integration, MTech or on the MS. So for that, what the mistake I did was I only applied to MTech program and MS program only to VLSI department. So that was the greatest mistake which I did. And then I thought of applying it on the winter intake, as I said before. So where the competition is pretty less. But unfortunately, the 2021 was the peak of COVID. So they closed the 2021 intake totally. I mean 2021's winter intake totally. So I had to wait around the year to fetch a seat. But that time what I did was that I just jotted down all the departments which EE students were allowed to sit, and I applied across all the departments in all the IITs, and I got shortlisted in IIT Madras in the field of information and systems in the Department of Management Studies. So I kindly request you to apply for any department or all the department which you are eligible and which you are interested to do your MS or MTech or your PhD program from. So so there were two major questions which were asked by most of them. That is, how should we draft our SOP and how should we draft our research proposal during the application process. So what I actually feel is that if we talk about the statement of purpose, you must have seen your friends who are going abroad actually jotting down a very huge pages and pages of statement of purpose and then adding all these cheesy words and all. So here in IITs, statement of purpose is just for a formality. So you don't have to break your head so much to jot down it. So you can maybe write 3 to 4 lines of what made you what interest you have to join IIT Madras. Or for to join any IIT for the master's program or for the PhD program. So you can just keep it very simple, and in fact they even don't care so much about SOP. But if we talk about the research proposal, there you have to actually ponder so much. Not so much. It might add a big value to your CV and to your own credentials during the interview process. So how I went about my research proposal is that I first of all jotted down all the faculties who are there in the department, and then I selected 2 to 3 faculties in my stream. That is, I applied to Department of Management Studies. Under that, I applied for information and systems. So if you see and if you take the faculties of the Department of Management Studies under information and systems, there are only 3 faculties. So I just took their profile, I just downloaded few of their papers, and I jotted down which paper interested me more. And I thought of preparing a research proposal which is extracted and which could be extended from one of their papers. You have to show that you are pretty interested in the faculty's research areas and you have also explored the faculty's areas much. How I actually went in drafting my research proposal is I just drafted it like a conference paper, right from the abstract, introduction, then the literature review, then the methodology part, then the solution part, and then the conclusion part. So I did pretty basic research of, each paper, each of the conference or the journal paper would be having some kind of a gap, which is also in some paper they would have mentioned like limitations. So you can maybe, if you are able to find that exact gap and then mention that gap in your research proposal, and if you draft your research proposal in order to satisfy that gap, it would be a great viewpoint in your interview, because people won't expect so much about research proposal, because you are just getting started with your research career through your MS or through your PhD program. For PhDs, they might ask you a bit in-depth analysis, but for master's program, it is like they will just test you whether are you research oriented, are you understanding what is going on in the department, are you okay with the topics what the faculties talk about. So if we talk about the interview's point of view, that is how to go about to prepare for the interview, all the questions which are asked in the interview could be classified into 2 parts. One is the technical questions and the second is the non-technical questions. How to approach the technical questions is that irrespective of your stream, be thorough in 2 to 3 subjects in your stream. Say if you are from electrical engineering, networks and power electronics and power systems could be your choice. If you are from computer science background, it could be operating systems, AML, etc., etc. So just be thorough with your basics. That is basic 2 to 3 subjects, because the interview you can structure the way of how the interview has to proceed actually lies in your hands. So what they actually asked me was that they asked me the basics of machine learning, deep learning, basic maths, and some parts in statistics and probability. They asked me about the decision trees. They asked me about how to calculate the cross entropy laws, how to calculate the uh, information gain in a decision tree. Then they asked me about 2 to 3 problems in probability. Then they asked me about the hypothesis testing methods from statistics. So these were the key points which I actually remember now, because I had given my interview 2 years back, 2021. Okay, 3 years back, 2 years back, 2021. So 3 years back, which is 2021. So yeah. After you properly focus on your basics, after you complete your basics part, that is your core subjects, be very confident about the research proposal of what you wrote, because the majority of the questions might lie from your research proposal. In my experience, they asked me, apart from the basic concepts which I discussed, they asked me few more questions which revolved around my research proposal. So my research proposal was based on sentiment analysis, and then uh, neural network pruning, etc., etc. So just be thorough and just don't blabber something about in the research proposal. Just be confident and just be clear. I mean, right from which journal you have actually chosen the paper, who are the authors of the paper. All these minute details also matters. So if you properly go about in writing the paper on your own, you will be really, really very clear about all the in-depth aspects of it. So be clear about the research proposal. So then, talking about the general questions, the first question which was asked to me was tell me about yourself, and the second question which was asked to me was tell me about your academic background. So there are pretty differences between these two questions, so prepare yourself accordingly. In all the IITs, I had faced these two questions in the first itself, so just be prepared of it. And then thirdly, what they will check from the general questions is they will ask your future aspirations. That is, what is your future plan after your MS? Like, do you have interest to move to the corporate, or you want to or you want to continue for the PhD program? In case if you are applying for any PhD program, they will ask you want to go into the academia or you want to go to the industry. So just be prepared for it. And the fourth is they will check your clarity. That is, always while talking, speak with clarity. So whatever things you explain to the panel, just talk in a way that you are sounding very clear. So if you are not sounding clear, it is that you don't know the concept much. So they will understand in such a way that you are not able to communicate in such a good way the concepts which you have understood clearly. So fourth one is talk with clarity. Okay. Then the fifth one is be confident and sound clear. So your voice, I mean, don't be too loud or don't be too mild. So just be confident and sound clear. So these are all the general topics which they'll be testing you on. So we have discussed the technical as well as the general topics which would be asked by all the IITs panels in your master's or the PhD interview. So after your application process, just patiently keep on checking your correct email address which you had provided in your application. Also keep on regularly checking the department's website for the shortlisted candidates for the interview. So during my time, they had put up the list of candidates who were shortlisted for the interview on the departmental website. So keep on having a regular check on the website. And then after you get a call, after you get shortlisted for the interview, be calm, and you will be given a link, I think in some Google, not Google Meet, in some Zoom Meet or in some Team Meet, you will be having the interview. So there will be a SPOC, which stands for Student Point of Contact. So he will be calling you shortly, I think a day or two before your interview is being scheduled. I was the SPOC for the DOMS department. I was also a part of the admission committee. So I also know how the process goes on, which I'll be explaining it to you now. So once the student point of contact calls you, so you will be added into a WhatsApp group where there are a pool of students. So from there you will be, it's like the SPOC will tell you he will actually give you a range of slot, that is 10 to 12. So in the range of 10 to 12 or from 9 to 12, you should be patiently be waiting after you log in to the given Zoom ID or the given link. So you just need to be patient after, just in case of any query, or in case if you want to reschedule the interview process. Mostly it will not be entertained, but in some genuine cases you can actually reschedule the interview process in the later day itself. So just listen to the SPOC and just be patient, just be calm, and have faith and have confidence on yourself. And in case of any queries, you can kindly contact the SPOC, who will be ready to help you in any kind of situation. So after the interview is over, what many people will do is that they will again call the SPOC, that is the student point of contact, and they'll be asking what is their results. So the student SPOC is just a student and he is not a faculty. So he don't know any of the results and all. He is just acting as a bridge between the faculties who are interviewing and the students. So please don't kindly contact contact anyone. Just keep on following your registered email address, where if you are shortlisted, you will be getting an email after a month or so. Average time is a month. So you can just keep on checking your email, as well as the shortlisted candidates list would be published in all the departmental websites. So you can just have a look at there also.